Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. McDermott, I think you're muted. If you can unmute. And then there's one iPad 2. If you can unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Is that iPad 2 speaking? Who's on the screen marked iPad 2?
That is Eric Sanchez, Your Honor.
Okay, you need to unmute.
Mute.
There we go.
Okay.
Anybody that's going to offer testimony, if you please raise your right hand. Is Mr. Sanchez going to testify?
Yeah, I had it. I'm sorry.
You swear the testimony about to give shall be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Yes, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Okay, so Ms. McDermott or Mr. McDermott, who wants to proceed?
Mrs. McDermott will proceed.
Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We have an issue with our vehicle that we sent to Mr. Sanchez back in September of 2018. And as you can see from the delay, all of the emails or texts that were sent were responded by his mechanic. And then several times when, the issue at hand kept extending, I tried to get a hold of Mr. Sanchez on several occasions and never got a response from him at all. I did forward all those things to the mechanic so that he could at least, try to forward it to him so that he would give me a call to try to just resolve or have communication in regards to this vehicle that was sent over to them to be fixed.
Vehicle was sent September of 2018. What was to be done?
So they were going to have a new rebuild and put whatever was new that could be replaced into the Javelin to get it running in condition to be able to just drive the vehicle within town, not long distances or anything. It is an old vehicle. We understand that. And so they were also going to, at the time when we made the agreement, complete the body work, paint the vehicle, do the upholstery. It was going to be a whole restoration of the vehicle. And as time went on, and we weren't getting anywhere with, it took us 7 months to even get them started with the vehicle. If you see from September that the vehicle sent, my very first email that was sent to them where I had gone by and said, that this is on the document number 1, label number 1.
Okay, well, let's go to that. Let's just start looking at some of these documents. So we go to number 1, this one?
Correct.
So this is an email from the green is yourself? Or is it
Correct.
the outside and fabric on the inside? No, not sure on any of those stripes. If I think something thinner. Okay, let me know if you find anything.
If you look at the next part, hopefully, yeah, right there. So it says that I had cut, see if you notice it's April 11th on that. And I said, I came by yesterday, but neither you or Eric were there. When is the car going to be painted and have the new engine put in? It looks like nothing is being done because the vehicle had been sitting in the same spot, several times that I had driven by. I was going to a place called the Ark that's close by. And so that was giving me the opportunity to, kind of keep an eye on the vehicle.
Okay.
And
Okay, let me know if you find any. What is he referring to here? Or is this a different, that's
a different, that was talking about the fabric for the upholstery and
was there any response here to this April 11th?
let me bring that up. I'm sorry. I don't have it copied exactly there.
No, you just tell me, was there a response here to April 11th?
Well, that's when they started moving on the vehicle. Yes. After that, then they started to rolling on getting the vehicle worked on.
Okay, so go to your, what do you want to present next?
Okay, so if you look at, and if you look at these documents, okay, so going over to May 6th, so this is already a month, and I asked, how are we doing? Where are we on the car?
Wait, is that on here? Is it on these
Yes,
emails?
that is document number 2, Your Honor.
Number 2. I see 1, and it goes to 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like number 2 is here.
Right there?
Oh, I missed it?
I think so. Right here, keep going down. I see 4.
Okay.
And
I'm
there
sorry.
it
On the wrong order. Okay.
So, so this is a month,
May 6th.
you know, I asked again, you know, where are we on the car? I have the engine in the machine shop. As far as I know, the car, I'm waiting for Joelle to draw out some pictures for me. Is it painted? Let me see. It goes on to document number 3 because it gets cut off.
Here's number 3.
Yes, correct. So then we come to May, then we come up to July. We must have been communicating it by phone here, but we go to July 19th. And I said, you know, good afternoon. It will be coming up on 3 Mondays that our car engine was to get there. I sure hope there's some serious progress on the Javelin. I'll be stopping by in the next few days. So then this picture was sent of where they had painted the vehicle.
Okay. The next one.
The next one is document number 4. Again, we go almost, let's see, a couple of weeks, August 13th. Good afternoon. What is the status on the Javelin? Just put the base coat on the car. So this was a couple weeks after that. If you go to document number 5. So then I have, this goes to December, where I had stopped in the first time. So December 2nd, because time had passed by. We were still, you know, they were working on the engine, and I had left a message for Eric to call. I never got a phone call back. I called back the next day, December 3rd, left a message with George for Eric to return my call. And then I sent Jimmy a text, which is what this is referring to. So, and I said, it's not a surprise that I did not receive your call on Monday. I've called twice to have Eric return my call. You all are going to have to leave us no choice but to start seeking some assistance to get our Javelin, because we just couldn't get responses from them. I couldn't get, you know, the whereabouts, what was happening with it. And I wanted to discuss it with Eric, and I just could never get him to give me a call back. And then you can see where I answered for our conversation at 2:19 on December 3rd. Please confirm that you agreed to have this for Javelin motor refilled with the new air conditioning road ready. Upholstery will be left as is. The car will be painted. And it continues on 6. With no black lining painted on it. Outside of the car will be close to the original chrome and all. The original emblems and the luggage rack that were on it, when taken to the shop, should also be restored and put back on. We have been waiting for the samples of the rooftop and will expect those as soon as possible. Time to be determined as well. Or the tires, excuse me. As promised, January 15th, 2020. Please reply that all of this will be in order. So we came to this point because, we just weren't getting anywhere. I was kept calling in regards to the samples of what I'm talking about on the rooftop of the vehicle. And so that's where I finally was like, okay, let's get this to where we can have this vehicle with a date promised there. So that was document number 6.
This to this text.
Pardon me?
Did you get a response to this text?
Response to that text. Let me see.
Did they agree to have it by January 15th, 2020? Did they say yes?
Yes. So I was just reiterating where you see on December 3rd from document 5, it says per our conversation at 2:19. So I was just replying and confirming what we had spoken of so that it was sent in a text. And then January 15 came. So January 16th, I did receive a text from Jimmy. And he says, I need 2 more weeks waiting on smog pump and an air compressor. And right here on my notes, I made a mention that here, because later on in these texts, it says that they're waiting on a clutch, but there's no mention of a clutch in this particular text. So this is what they were waiting for. They needed 2 more weeks. So document 8. I responded when he sent that text. I said, you read my mind as I was getting ready to contact you. I've also asked before for a list of the expenses that have been incurred to date. Please begin this process and have this ready within the next few days. I would like to come by Tuesday to pick that up and see the car. Thank you. Then January 30th, he says, I'm still having problems finding the AC compressor. I did find the smog pump, but there's still no mention here of a clutch. Okay, so document 9 was just the picture of the smog pump that was received. And then document 10, this is February 22nd. And I responded saying, hello, I have not heard from you. This was supposed to be done January 15th, and we are at the end of March. I also asked for the breakdown and still no breakdown. I can't tell you how discouraged we are and so disappointed with Eric. I think he is a very poor businessman to not be able to contact us to show he cares. Please advise, Mrs. McDermott. I was getting very frustrated, as you can see in the text. Let's see, document 11. So this is also where we started with COVID. So, everything was starting to kind of shut down. And as you can see, the date here is July 4th. Good afternoon, Jimmy. Is the paperwork ready so I could go by Monday morning to pick it up? I was wanting to get the paperwork so I could see how much of the expenses that we had already incurred, so that I could make the attempt to talk to Mr. Sanchez again and come to some sort of understanding agreement, whatever, we could deal with. So it says, I'm still working on it. Monday afternoon, I'll call you when I have it. So I never got a phone call, never got the expenses. This is July 16th, where I asked, Eric's last name is Sanchez, correct? Because this is where I was starting the process of trying to continue making contact, because I did send one of these documents. You'll see that I took a picture of a certified letter that was sent to Mr. Sanchez. So document 12 continues our conversation where he says, I keep trying to call you. I can't see very well. Text, your answering machine says you cannot leave no messages. And then I responded that please text me. I can't receive calls at the moment. Would you also please answer my question? Eric's last name is Sanchez, correct? And I had to find that out through another source. Then on document 13, this is August 13th. He says, I'm working on the compressor, looking for the clutch so we can finish this car because it's because the car is so rare that they don't make the parts for it anymore. So here's the first time where it comes into the mention of the clutch.
That's not true.
Well, I just showed the text earlier. Then finally, I got to the point where I sent this is the last text that I sent because we had sent a copy of the certified letter to Mr. Sanchez. And so I responded saying, I assumed we received your text because of this letter. That was because that was sent and that you had received it. I'm disgusted to have had it rejected and sent back. The paperwork for small claims court is ready to go. And I was ready to send it when I got the letter back. You tell Eric that if we do not get a response with the expense listed date, notification of the remaining work that has to be done to get that car running, I will file the paperwork. Something has to be done at this point.
Okay. Is the letter here somewhere?
It should be. What is it there? Oh. Let me see, that ended with 14, 15, it might be 16. Is there a 16? Did I just see? Yeah, that might be it there. Okay, so this is the letter that I sent him a copy of. As you can see, it was rejected. It was a letter to Mr. Sanchez, and then I included the letter there to Jimmy so that he could, if he was in communication with Mr. Sanchez, that he could show it to him. But I just never got a response from him at all, and this is why we're at this point, and all of it could have been avoided.
What are you suing for?
So I had written on there, Your Honor, that I put $10,000 because I really wasn't sure. We gave him a deposit of $10,000 to do this work plus more. However, as you can see in that one particular text where I said, just get the car at this point and give us the expense report so we, where we're at, so that we could come to some sort of an agreement. So I don't know where they're at this point. At this point, to me, that expense list does me no good. And the reason I say that is because now I'm going to have to, get our vehicle and take it to somebody else who I have to start all over. I don't have trust and confidence in Mr. Sanchez anymore. I want our vehicle back, and we want our money back because we are, the paint job that was done to this vehicle, it was done 2 years ago. So, here's a brand new paint job that's been already 2 years old. So we're going to have to start all over on this.
You've not received an expense report today? You don't know what's been paid?
Today, I have not received a thing. After I sent that letter, the final text that I sent to him was from the document 14, where I thought that they had received the certified letter. But like I said, in my disgust, I was just not happy to see it get returned, rejected. And in the last phone call that I tried to make to Mr. Sanchez was on August 26th. at 11:11, and I left a message that just said, "This is urgent, have him call me." But I just never, ever got a return phone call or anything. And that's why I say, there was no care or concern in regards to the vehicle, ours. Jimmy received all of these texts. He could see my frustration and all of it, and telling him, you're not giving us any choice but to have to go to try to resolve this. And here we are.
Who is Jimmy?
That is the mechanic.
Me.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez is,
I'm sorry?
Mr. Sanchez here, the owner?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'm the president, yes.
President of what?
The business,
Well, what's the name of the,
High-Tech Auto Restyling Incorporated.
okay. Okay, Mr. Torres, do you have any question?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay,
Good afternoon, Ms. McDermott.
Good afternoon.
Ms. McDermott, you've testified to the court that you dropped your car off in August of 2018. Is that correct? Or that it was picked up?
That is correct. August of 2018. September. September.
Okay. And you also made a mention to the judge that nothing happened for 7 months. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in your exhibits, you label the exhibits from 1 through 16. And the first exhibit that you referred to was exhibit number 1, and it's a text message at the bottom dated April the 11th of 2019. Is that correct?
That is correct.
But in fact, there had been text message correspondence between you and Jimmy, who is Santiago Moreno, but Jimmy. You recall that?
Yes.
In fact, on October the 19th, you and Mr. Moreno or Jimmy exchanged text messages regarding the color of the car that you wanted it painted, correct?
We were talking about the paint, correct?
Right. And then you received another, and there was a series, that was a long message, but then you received another message, or actually you reached out to Jimmy on November the 2nd of 2018. You remember that?
November 18th, is that what you said?
No, I said November, let me go back, hold on. November 2nd.
Yes, I have those. Mhm.
And those text messages between you and Jimmy were regarding number 1, the upholstery material, and a paint shop where you could go look at colors for the car. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then he gave you the address of the paint shop or paint store. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And also the name of the individual that you were to talk to at the fabric store.
Correct.
Okay. And then on November the 15th, you had another exchange of text messages. Jimmy was writing you, asking you whether you had a chance to pick out a color for the vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And your response was, "I'm so sorry, we have not gone to see the colors, been extremely busy. We will go first thing next week," correct?
Yes.
On November the 19th, you received you exchanged texts with Jimmy inquiring about the upholstery, correct?
Yes.
Okay. On November the 23rd of 2018, another exchange of text messages where you were asked if you had gone to pick up the color of the paint and also have you chosen the upholstery, correct?
Yes, and I responded that my husband had been sick.
Yes, the response was, no, Ken has been sick. I'll call Eric. Correct?
Yes,
And then on January the 16th of 2019, you texted Jimmy saying, hi, I'm sorry for this taking so long. I have picked a paint and I'm waiting on Ken to confer, hoping to make it in the morning to pick up upholstery. Thank you, Lolly McDermott. Is that
correct.
okay? And then you continued to talk about the upholstery and your conversations with the individual at the upholstery shop, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Then on January the 17th, you reached out to Jimmy and asked about the upholstery and how much, I don't know if it was, you were referring to how much it was going to cost or how much fabric you needed, but you reached out to him and he responded, correct?
January 17th about the upholstery, yes.
Okay. And then on January the 25th, you reached out to Jimmy, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And he responded by, you said you were going to go out and see the car and he responded by K, or I guess it's okay. Right?
yes,
Then on March the 7th, you also reached out to Jimmy, correct?
yes, to try to get a hold of Eric, yes.
In fact, you said you would be out to the shop to talk to Eric on Saturday between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., correct?
On Saturday, yes, and if he was going to not be there to let us know, so we wouldn't make a trip for nothing.
Right, but the response was, okay,
Correct.
all right. And then, bear with me. Then there was another, well, on March the 7th, your response was great. We'll be there. Please tell him if he's not going to be there to let us know so we don't make a trip. Appreciate it, correct?
Yes,
Now, the response was, okay, sounds good. I already told him. Then there was another exchange of communication or text messages on Saturday, March the 9th.
yes.
And did you go to the shop and meet and talk to Eric?
Yes,
Okay. And we'll get into that in a few minutes, but let me finish with these text messages. On March the 12th, there was another series of text messages exchanged between you and Jimmy. In fact, Jimmy sent you a number of photographs of cars like yours or of cars that had a stripe on the side, because I think at one point you were talking about the stripe to be painted.
Correct.
All right. And you agree that Jimmy sent you some photographs for you to look at?
yes,
Okay. And then in addition to that, Jimmy sent you a number of drawings for the upholstery to be done on your car, correct?
correct.
And I think you responded, I'll show these to Ken. I won't see him until later. Thank you. Correct?
Yes, sir.
On March 14th, you also had communication. You had some concerns about the paint job and you were referring to something, if there was a leak. I'm not sure what that was all about, but there was an exchange between you and Jimmy, correct?
Yes,
And it was referring to the paint job and the work they were doing on your car, correct?
correct.
Okay. And then, let me see. And then I think, Ms. McDermott, that brings us up, that brings us to the April 11th text message that you represented to the judge that, well, that's actually on Exhibit 1.
Correct.
So actually, there were a lot of text messages between you and Jimmy before April 11th?
Regarding the paint, yes.
Regarding whatever, regarding the repair of your car, correct? So the first text message you got from, or sent or got from Jimmy wasn't on April the 11th, as indicated by exhibit number 1, correct? All right. And in fact, by April the 11th, you had met with Jimmy and Eric on that Saturday. You came by and you talked about this stuff, correct?
The upholstery, correct.
When you met with Jimmy, is that, I mean, when you met with Eric on that Saturday we referred to in one of those exhibits, is that all you talked about was the upholstery?
That's what was coming up. Looking at the back seat of the vehicle.
Okay.
Yes,
Is it possible that you and he and Jimmy talked about other subjects other than the upholstery?
yes, sir.
Okay. Because you were concerned about other things regarding the car, the paint job, the tarp, or you know, whatever that fabric is you mentioned earlier. You had some concerns you wanted to address, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then in the series of exhibits that you filed with the court, and you numbered them and filed them with the court, there's some gaps in text messages, correct?
Yes, I sent what I had sent to Jimmy.
Right. Because there was a text message from Jimmy on April the 19th, which is not shown, it's not demonstrated in your exhibits, where he sent you a text message that included a website for you to look at samples of either upholstery or paint or stripe for the car, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Then there were other gaps that well, I see other gaps in the exhibits you sent to the judge that didn't include some of the text messages that Jimmy sent you. For example, let me see if I can get this date, Ms. McDermott. On Saturday, July the 27th, Jimmy was responding to a text by you, and he sent a number of pictures regarding the status of the repair of the car. And it looks to me like it was the engine compartment. You have those?
yes, that's on document number 3.
Right. And document number 3, if I'm correct, only shows two photographs.
Correct.
Okay. But in fact, there were more than that.
Right, there's 2 more.
Right. Actually, there's about 3 more. Correct?
Well, there's 2 for that date, and then there was one from August 19th where he says, I just put the base coat on the car, which is
Right.
included.
Okay. And so in addition to the text messages that you've represented to the court are in your exhibit, there was a large number of other text messages that were not represented and you did not refer to in your testimony, correct?
Can you give me those dates?
Well, I'm sorry, I was referring to them when I was asking you, but would you agree that there's text messages between you and
Oh,
Jimmy?
Yes, to April 11th on the upholstery. Yes, correct.
Well, there's more than April 11th. I mean, there's all the text messages beginning in August of 2018 until right before April 11th. None of those were included, correct?
Correct.
And so would you agree with me that in the content of those text messages, it indicates that work was being done on the car and that you and Jimmy were having an exchange of conversations and ideas?
An exchange of ideas, yes.
Right. And that there were times in this since 2018 that Jimmy and Eric and the rest of the crew out there were waiting for you guys or for you to make decisions about the color of the paint and the type of upholstery and whether to put a stripe or not. Is that correct?
Yes, and we did.
Okay. But it wasn't right away, was it? I mean, let's be fair about this. It took you a long time to decide what type of upholstery you wanted, correct?
September 2018, and
Your Honor, I'm sorry, Ms. McDermott is testifying, and I would ask that Mr.
I'm
McDermott
sorry.
not testify.
Go ahead, Mr. McDermott.
Okay, can you repeat what you just said? I'm sorry.
Well, the question, the gist of the question was that some of the delays in this process that you're claiming was all Eric and his crew's fault was partly your fault because you were trying to decide what type of upholstery to have and what type of paint color to have. I mean, that took a long time, didn't it?
Looking at the time frame, yes.
Okay, all right. And so you're asking this court to be able to retrieve your property. If I listened and if I understood you, you're asking that you be able to retrieve your property, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you're asking that your $10,000 be refunded completely.
As I mentioned before, I put that as an amount because I did not have an amount to go by.
Okay,
I-
but
Requesting that amount
I
to,
appreciate that, but listen to my question. Are you asking the judge that you be giving the $10,000 you put down as a deposit? Are you asking that that be returned to you?
well, that is what I put down, correct?
And so for whatever work, and we haven't heard from Mr. Sanchez or Mr. Moreno, Jimmy, as to what work was done. But so in your request, they're not going to be compensated for any of the work they've done, correct?
I will leave that up to the courts. That's why we're here, because I don't have a number for it. That's why I kept wanting to and requesting for the status as to where we were so that we could come to, an agreement where we were.
Right, but this has nothing to do with that. This is just simply a question of, are you asking for the $10,000 deposit you gave to be returned to you? And I believe you said yes, correct?
Well, that's what I had written down. Yes, correct.
Right. And so my question was so that Eric and his company would not be compensated for any of the work they've done, whatever that is, correct?
Well, if I were to get the $10,000, yes.
Okay, all right. And you stated that you did not receive an itemized statement of the work that's been done.
That
I
is
think
correct.
a number of times, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And if you were to, if the court was to order that your property be returned or retrieved, when could you do that?
Right now.
Well, I mean, do you know whether the car is drivable?
No.
Okay, so if it's,
I have it arranged that if it was going to happen today, that it would be picked up.
okay, so if it would, I was going to ask you, if it's not drivable, you would make arrangements for a tow truck to go pick it up, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and that would be as soon as you could.
Well, I had it arranged if the courts were going to allow it today for it to happen here pretty quick. I didn't know.
I can't guess as to what the judge is going to do. I'm just saying, trying to get an idea of how quick you would like to get that done. Okay.
Correct.
All right. You said that you're concerned about the paint job that's been done to your car, and it's 2 years old. So it's a new paint job. You agree with me on that?
It's 2 years old.
Okay.
It's new.
Well, okay, it's a new paint job that's 2 years old because your car was painted at the shop, correct?
Correct.
And do you know whether the car has been sitting out in the hot sun, or has it been housed in the garage at Eric's shop?
I'm going to assume it's housed in a garage because the times I've driven by, I don't see it outside.
Okay, all right. So it's not exposed to the elements. Would
I
you
don't
agree?
know. I drive by every day.
Why are we asking somebody that we know that doesn't know?
I'm sorry?
Why are we asking somebody that we know doesn't know if it's been housed?
Well, I'm just asking. That's why I'm trying to understand what the facts are and.
Let's
and-
ask the witnesses that know something about that, you know, what that.
Right, but she made a statement that she has a 2-year-old paint job that's not good anymore. And I'm trying to determine what the basis of that is.
You're asking somebody that's in the dark and you're asking, has it been inside of the garage this whole time?
Yeah, and she said
No.
that she assumes it is because she's been driven by there and hasn't seen it out. That's all I'm asking, and I think I'm entitled to that. Okay, I pass the witness.
Any other witnesses, Ms. McDermott?
No,
Anything else?
unless you want to
Okay.
say.
Okay, Ms. Torres? I'm gonna call your,
Call Eric Sanchez, please.
okay,
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez, if you don't understand a question I asked, please ask to refer it. I mean, please
Okay.
ask to repeat it, okay?
Okay.
And I don't know if Ms. McDermott is going to ask you questions, but please do that with her. And also I would ask that you not interrupt either her or me while we're asking the question, okay?
Not a problem.
Okay, now, Mr. Sanchez, you heard Ms. McDermott testify that a vehicle of hers, a 1979 AMC Javelin, was picked up by your company. Is that correct?
Yes.
And my understanding that it was in August of 2018, but Ms. McDermott believes it was in September of 2018. Do you know what day it was picked up?
I do not actually, they had it delivered
Okay.
here.
So it would be around that period between August and September of 2018,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
And let's talk about the restoration of what work were you going to do for Ms. McDermott?
Well, we actually did make an initial statement. It was going to be 20,000 for paint, upholstery, engine rebuild, brake systems, and AC set service. And that was the agreement. That was the total amount, 20,000.
Okay. And so let's talk about the work that has either been done or not been done.
Okay.
Now, regarding what was the first phase of the work you did on Ms. McDermott's car?
Paint, which we waited until we got.
Hey,
the color.
hold
But
on,
that
Mr.
was
Sanchez. Hold on, Mr. Sanchez. Let me just one question at a time, okay?
okay.
So
Okay.
you were going to paint the car.
Yes.
Did the car require any type of body work before you painted the car?
Yes.
Okay. And what type of body work did it need?
It is sanded down, breaking. It's a steel car, so leveling everything. There's quite a few things to do before
Okay.
you paint. Any chips, anything like that, they will be fixed.
Okay. And then after you did that, you painted the car.
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's get this out of the way. Where has a car been stored in a garage at your business?
Yes, sir. I made a point of it. I stored it in one of my bays and locked it up.
Okay. Throughout this time since
It has not been out.
okay. Now, so when you take a car, when you take a customer's car and the customer says, "I want the car painted," who chooses the color of the paint?
The customer always chooses the color.
Okay. And was Ms. McDermott looking at different paints, color paints, and trying to decide what she wanted?
We gave her a color book with over 10,000 colors to choose from.
Okay.
And we allowed her to take it home if she wanted, do whatever she wanted with it.
Okay. And so how long did it take her to tell you what color of paint she wanted?
I couldn't tell you how long in days, but I could tell you the day that she finally did give us color is the day that we started to do the paint.
Do you remember what date that was?
It had to have been that date that where she was in one of those texts. I'm sorry, I do not have the text in front of me.
Okay. Well, then let me tell you what, I'll ask Jimmy since he's the one doing the work.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Jimmy would know more. He's the one that would deal with her the most.
All right. And so what is the status of the restoration work today? How far have you gotten and what needs to be done?
We've completely rebuilt the engine, complete paint, interior. We gutted the interior, but we still don't have a color of the upholstery.
Okay, so the upholstery has not been completed.
No, sir.
Okay. And what have you been waiting for to complete that? But before this
Colors.
lawsuit was filed, what were you waiting for?
Colors and material.
Did you ever get that from Ms. McDermott?
No, sir.
Okay. And so other than the upholstery, what else needs to be done to this vehicle?
Pretty much that's it. We'll finish up the AC system, the brake system, the upholstery, and
Okay.
should be good to go.
Okay. And these issues of paint color and upholstery type and color, have you explained this to Ms. McDermott or Mr. McDermott?
Multiple times.
Okay. Ms. McDermott claims that she hasn't been able to talk to you. Is that correct?
That is not correct. I did speak to her quite a few times here at the office.
Okay.
And she does have my direct phone number, which I gave it to her the very first time I met her.
Okay. You recall when I was asking Ms. McDermott questions about a meeting that was going to take place on your shop? Do you recall that?
Yes.
Do you recall meeting with Ms. McDermott?
Yes, sir. I was here.
Okay. And she recalls that you guys discussed the upholstery. Were there any other issues that were discussed?
Paints and stripes.
Okay.
We had put multiple colors of paint on sprayed on her car so she could decide from there, but we were still waiting.
Okay. And so what do you need? So back then and after that meeting, what you were waiting for was for Ms. McDermott to choose the type of upholstery and the type of upholstery that was going to be put in the car, correct?
Yes, sir.
In other words, choose the design for the upholstery.
Exactly.
Okay. And you've never received that.
Never.
Okay. Did Ms. McDermott sent a demand letter or a letter to you, a certified return receipt? Did you reject that?
I did not reject it. I was in Midland getting my COVID shot at the time. And it was directed for me, so nobody signed for it. But I did retrieve it when I arrived.
Okay. And so you were aware of the allegations and what Ms. McDermott was asking for?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me, we've heard some, and there's a lot of talk about this air conditioning compressor for the car.
Mhm.
And that it took a long time to find the right part. Tell me about that. Is there anything unique about this car and
That
ability
year
to
and the year,
find
make,
parts?
and model. Yeah, year, make, and model to find parts is, I mean, it's almost impossible, especially during COVID. I
Right.
mean, everybody's close. I mean, it's aftermarket. I know Santiago and Joel both look junkyards, whatever we could find, wherever we could. And I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many man hours we spent on it.
Okay, and has the compressor have you gotten the parts and fixed the compressor or no?
Not as of yet, no, sir.
Okay, so you're still looking for parts? Is that what you're
Yes,
telling
sir.
me? Okay,
Yes, sir.
all right, so Mr. Sanchez, what are you willing to offer to resolve this issue?
Well, as I did respond to her letter after I did get it, I did respond to it. And I did send it to her certified as well. She should have a copy where I'd say, okay, well, I mean, I've spent over 10,000 on it. But if she'd like, I'd allow her to pick it up, take it wherever she wants. And we'll go our separate ways.
Okay, Miss McDermott has stated a number of times that she had requested and hasn't been provided with an itemized statement of the work that's been done to the car. Is that correct?
That is not correct. The initial invoice, it has what we were gonna do on it and the price. So
Okay.
that was the total agreement, which we should have done, which I've abided by.
Okay. But I think Ms. McDermott is referring to an itemized statement that shows all the work you've done. Have you provided her with that?
I can't speak to that. I don't know if Jimmy did but we do have one where we're at. I
Okay.
mean,
So how much money have you incurred over the $10,000?
believe, can I get a copy of it real quick?
I
Or
asked
do
the
you
judge,
need like a ballpark? I'm sorry?
you need to
Your
ask
Honor?
the judge.
Yeah, Your Honor.
No, let me, a couple things. Okay, so we have a letter that nobody's seen. Ms. McDermott, have you gotten the letter?
No, no, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Torres, do you have the letter?
I do have a letter.
Okay, and we have an itemized statement. I mean, why aren't these as exhibits?
I just got the statement. And it was clear the last time we met that you weren't inclined to allow any exhibits to be filed by my client or myself. So I have,
When we had the hearing last time, you had not filed any exhibits. So
Right.
you didn't have any. But now we reset it and there's still no exhibits. I mean, so there was no intention to this letter that was in response to their letter that nobody's gonna show that to anybody?
well, Mr. Sanchez has said that he sent it to her, certified return receipt, but I have not filed it.
Does he have a signed receipt?
I don't, Eric? The judge is.
Sorry?
The
Do
judge
you have a
is.
signed receipt for your letter?
I do. We should have one. I sent one certified and one with delivery confirmation.
That's an important part of this case. Where is the letter?
I got a copy if you'd like.
You don't think,
I mean, as far as the ones that we sent to her, I
No.
responded.
you all don't think it's pertinent to this case?
I do, but I mean, I believe that I thought she had that in hers.
Mr.
But like,
Torres?
yeah,
Mr. Torres?
Yes,
Is that letter, we're going to talk about it, but nobody's going to present it?
well, yes, it's in existence, but I hadn't filed it based on your and my conversation at the first hearing. That I don't believe you were.
What conversation was
inclined to
that?
accept the exhibits because I hadn't filed any.
That was when we had a court setting for that date.
That's correct.
Okay, you filed a motion for continuance. We continued the case. You could have time to file any kind of exhibit you wanted.
Exactly. But I remember your statement that, you weren't inclined to accept any exhibits, so that's why I didn't file it.
No,
You asked, Are you going to file any exhibits? And I said, no. And so I'm not going to go
I
back.
asked if you're not going to file any exhibits, and you say
Now?
no, then you're not. I mean, you're telling me you're not going to file them. I asked, are you going to file any exhibits? How is that you can't?
Okay, I mean, what do you want? I mean, Judge, I'm not going to argue with you. That it is what it is.
Okay, well, I think this letter would be pertinent to this case. I mean, I don't want to talk about something and not present it. So how do we get this letter?
Well, I will follow with the court along with the statement, the itemized statement. And I don't know anything about the itemized statement. I mean, I've asked Mr. Sanchez, he says he believes he sent it to Ms. McDermott. Ms. McDermott says she hasn't received one. So, I mean,
Mr. Sanchez,
yes, Your Honor.
you sent the itemized statement as well?
Yeah, we had sent everything.
Then
And like I said, Your Honor,
scan the itemized statement and I'm going to give you the email to email it to.
okay, go ahead.
The email is JP1
JP1,
El
I'm
Paso,
sorry,
El Paso County
JP1 El Paso County.
at gmail.com. It's JP1
Okay,
And El Paso County spelt out?
Yes,
Um,
JP1, correct?
Yes, JP1.
Okay, let me get, I'll get them to send it right now.
You're gonna scan the statement, the letter. What else was mentioned that we don't have a copy of?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Sanchez?
Yes. Yes,
Did you hear the judge? He's asking for that letter. You're testified that you sent Ms. McDermott along with the statement.
right.
And then you, apparently there's an agreement.
It was that was the initial invoice, mind you.
Okay, let's send that. as well.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm. What's those looking at? Your Honor, may I say something?
Sure.
I was going to ask in regards to this letter that he claims it was sent to me. I never received a letter, and he just finished saying that, you know, there was a signature on there. So if it was certified, I would have had to have signed it.
Okay.
That it, because he says that I received it, but there was nothing sent to either one of us.
May I ask my client a question, Your Honor?
Sure.
Mr. Sanchez,
Yes, sir.
you referred to an initial statement
Mhm.
when you and the McDermotts first started your relationship. And that sets out the work you were going to do and the full price and the down payment or the deposit that Ms. McDermott made. And you recall that?
Yes.
The judge just asked you about that. Do you remember whether or not Ms. McDermott signed that or Mr. McDermott signed that letter?
I can't recall, but I know they were both here.
Okay. But you don't have a signed copy of it?
Your Honor,
Maybe in the well, I'm gonna let her stop pinching her husband.
I wanted to make a comment.
Oh, just a minute. Let him finish answering the question. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr.
What were you
Sanchez?
saying, Mr. Sanchez?
I can, let's go back to the question.
Well, I was talking about that initial statement and whether
Uh-huh.
you have a signed copy of that.
Oh, that I can't recall. I mean, I haven't looked for it. I
Are
don't.
you looking at it?
But
Have you
we do
looked at
keep
it?
them. We do keep them in the computer, and we get them. They're there.
You can go ahead, Mr. Torres, if you have other questions.
Okay. Let me see. Your Honor, I think that I've asked all the questions of Mr. Sanchez I was going to ask. I passed the witness.
Ms. McDermott, do you have any questions of Ms. Sanchez, Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, I wanted to make a comment and ask in regards to where he was asked if I had if they were going to do all of the work that we had requested, or you know, that we had agreed on to do. And as you can see in that document 6, where it said that what was agreed to continue to finish. And part of that was the upholstery, because he said that they were waiting for us to finish that. And in that, I claimed that they were not going to, I was not going to let them finish the upholstery because of the, you know, the status time of which we'd been. And I just said, you know what? No, that's not going to happen. The drawings that came in that the attorney was referring to were drawings, and I just, it was not going to be to our satisfaction. And we had told them that we were not going to want to have them done. And then in regards to the paint and especially like that when they're that I have not picked the upholstery, that was the reason being.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez, did you agree that you weren't going to do the upholstery?
She did not tell me that. All we were waiting on was the color. That's why we had it all torn apart. But
Okay.
in the letter that where I responded, like I said, if she wants to leave it like that, I don't mind.
Mr. Sanchez, I'm just asking one question. Did you all agree not to do the upholstery?
No, sir.
Okay. Did somebody else here, I guess it was a Jimmy or somebody else, did you all agree to that?
I didn't agree. I was still waiting for her to choose something. And we kept asking her, and my husband's in the hospital, he's sick, coming up with different excuses.
Who is this?
And
Whose number is
So-
this 282-2435?
I don't know.
Who are
It's
these
Jimmy's.
guys?
that's mine.
I'm sorry?
That's my phone number.
Who is that? Who's saying that's mine?
That's Jimmy the can.
Jimmy. Okay, did you get this text?
Oh, I can't see it.
You can't see on the screen?
I'm got my glasses on now. Yeah, that was back in January of it says here January 15, 2020.
Okay.
And
Is the upholstery out at that point?
we already had taken the car apart.
Is the upholstery out at that time?
Yes, they've been out way
Is
long.
the upholstery out of the deal is what I'm asking you. You no longer doing upholstery.
Well, no, she had a signed contract saying that we're gonna do the complete car.
Okay, so you all didn't agree to this.
No.
So did you respond?
No.
I'm looking for the doc where it is. I'm sorry. Let me see where.
It's on the screen right here. Upholstery will be left as is.
Oh, yes, right there. And then he answers, okay.
So you answered K? Oh,
Yes, that response is from Jimmy.
I said, okay, let me check.
I'm sorry.
I cannot make decision. I'm not the owner. I cannot make decisions like that.
Why would you respond okay?
I will check with my boss.
Why don't you put I'll check with my boss?
I just got me off guard this way.
When is this text?
My place just as a mechanic to do the work.
When is this text? What's the date of this text?
December 3rd,
December 3rd of what?
2019.
So December 3rd, December 3rd, 2019. You're all,
2019.
I'm sorry,
2019.
2019. One party is saying the upholstery is not part of the deal.
Sir, during that time, my mother was in the hospital. She was dying. She died on December 7th of
Whose
2019. Mine.
Okay,
And I was going through, she was on hospice and she was all this. I wasn't really paying attention on what I was talking on that day.
okay.
My mother
What
passed
about your
away
boss? Your boss?
2019.
Okay, so since December
She should,
2019,
I would have liked her to text Eric. She had his number.
Your
Who's
Honor,
number?
as
just a minute. She had whose number?
My boss is Eric's
Okay, so since
since the beginning.
prior emails that Mr. Torres went through were with you, correct?
Yeah, mostly.
Is this Jimmy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, she was primarily dealing with you, correct?
Yes.
Is that, yeah, I'm sorry, you're cutting
Yes,
out.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So then this email, this text comes in and you're now saying that it's not your desire that she text you, that she needed to text your boss?
Well, at the time, I was wasn't working. I was taking off work because I was with my mother. It's like she was texting me, even on 4th of July when I was off, she texted me.
Okay, so, but this is in regard to a phone conversation that was had earlier, correct? And she is confirming what was said in the phone conversation. Is that correct?
No, it was on text, she says.
Yes, but it says correct.
Let me go back. Let me go to 5. I did not receive a call. I have called twice. Here I could return my call. Per our conversation at 2:19 on December 3rd. So there was a there was a conversation on December 3rd. That's what this is a confirmation of, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Jimmy?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So she's texting you what was stated on the conversation of December 3rd. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and in that conversation, she's saying that upholstery is not part of the deal.
Yes, she's saying that.
Okay, well, apparently she's saying what she thought the understanding was of December 3rd.
That's,
Correct.
I said, okay, and then I didn't know what she meant by that, because it is on the contract.
But you never,
She signed the contract saying, oh,
Mr. Lopez, please let me finish my question. So from December 3rd, 2019, you never cleared that up?
no, we were showing her, sending her pictures, different upholsteries, different designs. And she never said, I don't want it done then.
After this date?
Before that, she had
After this date, after December 3rd, you never cleared it up with her, whether upholstery was part of the deal or not?
no,
Okay.
because we were under contract. The contract stated right there, we're gonna do it.
Okay, but you respond, okay, but you never say, listen, that didn't mean we're not still doing the upholstery.
No,
You never clarified that, K. Correct?
yes, sir.
Okay, so it was left with the impression that upholstery is not part of the deal anymore.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so now, another question. Have we got those exhibits yet? Letter.
Your Honor, I sent them over from my email. My personal email is Joel JJ Lopez. You should be receiving them from there. There you go, right there.
This is, now what is this? Mitch, how do I enlarge this? Let's see.
That one is the itemized list.
This is what's been done?
Yes, Your Honor.
As of when?
As since we first got the car.
Okay, and all these things have been completed. I thought the AC had not been completed.
Well, we have the AC compressor. We have received a lot of these parts already, Your Honor. This is what has been done at this time.
So the engine's rebuilt.
Yes, sir.
Is it running?
There's still a couple other items that we do need to finish on the engine for it to be completely running, but we are more than 99% done with it.
So is it running?
Not at the moment, Your Honor.
Is the paint, the body and paint complete?
Yes, Your Honor.
Smog pump, that means it was just purchased, okay, AC compressor, AC clutch. Is the clutch complete?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are all these items complete, but the AC is not complete?
At this point, the AC has been complete.
Well, the AC is working.
Yeah, we just need, once it starts up and fill it with Freon.
Spark plugs, cap rotor, radiator, use a flush hose. Exterior, interior, and rag top. What does that mean?
We removed all of
Remove
the
interior
and the top, exactly, the top that goes on top of the vehicle.
No, that was the same thing. That's just the same thing.
Well, that one is the original contract, the one that says the amount. And that was ever since August 6th of 2018.
This is original.
Yes, sir. I have it on the computer. I don't have the one that's signed at the moment.
Is there one that's signed?
We should have it, but it'd be hard to find. I'd have to.
Is there
get
one
with
that's
my
signed?
account.
Yes or no?
There was one signed, yes, sir,
Signed by who?
by Mrs. McDermott or her husband, whoever, which one of them. They were both here the initial time.
Oops. And this is a letter that was sent certified mail?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Do you have the certified, paper, the certified mail receipt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yes.
and yes.
Where is it?
I'm sorry?
Where is the
Oh,
certified?
I don't know where that's at right now. I don't.
What's the date of this letter?
I don't have the date on there, but I
1986.
know it was when I got back into town, which I got April 15th.
The tax invoice.
This was right after her letter that she sent to me on where I responded.
I actually have it saved on my computer, Your Honor. I can look at the details and see exactly when it was written. If you give me a second.
Okay. Go ahead. To whom it may concern, who's the letter to?
It was created September 22nd of 2020, and I can go ahead and send that over right now as an attachment as well.
Who is the letter to?
This was a response to wherever that letter was that she had sent me.
This is a letter to the McDermotts.
Yes, sir. Whoever to whom it may concern. And it just states everything on there that we had done.
Okay, I guess my question is, who are you writing the letter to?
Let's see. Oh, no, this is a different letter. I'm sorry. This was a. You know what? I'm going to have to find that other letter. This isn't the one. Yeah, that's not to the McDermotts.
Who is this to?
That wouldn't have anything to do with this case.
What do you mean when I mean,
It-
mentions their
well,
name?
in other words, it could have been to my attorney or it could have been to someone else. What I'm saying is that's not the letter I sent her.
Okay. You want to provide the letter you sent her? You
I'm sorry?
want to provide the letter you sent her?
I'm going to have to find it. So, I mean, we don't need to speak on it anymore since I don't have it with me.
Okay. Mr. Torres, do you have any other questions of your client?
I have no other questions, Your Honor.
What have you, McDermott's, have you all seen any of this before? The itemized receipt or the,
No, Your Honor.
No.
And, this is one of part of the frustration is you can see, what we've just exchanged here, that this is what built up in my frustration of these things, and getting to the point of where we are. I had asked for that itemization. Like I said, I wanted to communicate with Mr. Sanchez. I do not have his personal phone number, or I would have certainly contacted him, if you can tell by what I sent in my text.
You
I
had sent me
would-
text and called me before.
Mr. Sanchez, please do not interrupt.
But, okay.
Go ahead.
So I would have, and that's why I would go into the shop and I would go try to find Mr. Sanchez. And as you can see, the exhibit, I believe it's 15, where there's the itemization of the notations of when I called over to leave a message for him to return my call back. And so, for him to say that I didn't ever try to get a hold of him, or I had his phone number, obviously I would have called him. I would have texted him. I do not recall ever texting him, and so I would go and stop in, or the communication with the mechanic there was all that I had, and going back and forth, and not, he would not call me back. He would not, so,
What I'm showing on the screen, was that provided to you, or would you all sign this?
we have a copy.
Okay. So this was of this 8-6, okay? Was the agreement?
Let me see. This is the same thing. There's 73. That's 75. Yeah, that's the agreement. We agreed on $20,000 and $10,000 down.
Hold on, I'm trying to get to. It's the same thing? No, it's. Okay, what is the date of this document? Mr. Sanchez or?
That's a
Lopez?
different.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a different document. We don't have that.
that's the one I had sent with the letter,
Okay,
Oh,
with the response.
what's the date of it?
That's, I didn't, that's just the response, and I did my statement. It's not an invoice, so I didn't date it out.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Sanchez, I need a copy of the signed agreement.
That's good. That's gonna take me a good while, Your Honor. I'd have to have my accountant pull out papers from.
Okay, you can get a copy.
Your Honor,
I'm sorry.
may I ask Ms. McDermott a question?
Sure.
Ms. McDermott, do you have a copy of, a signed copy of the initial agreement?
We have a copy of the agreement.
Is it signed?
Well, it needs to be provided by Mr. Sanchez.
Well,
Is yours signed?
So she does have a copy.
Where they received the check, yes.
They signed that they received the check?
Correct. And
Okay.
yes.
So that would be the bind.
Mr. Sanchez, hold on. Your Honor, I'm asking that if the McDermotts have a signed copy of their
We
letter provided to the court.
Original invoice.
I'm sorry?
We have a copy of the original invoice.
Okay. Can you provide a copy of that, please?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's the same one we sent you, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Sanchez, Mr. Sanchez, I need a copy of the original letter you're referring to that you sent in response together with the statement. And a copy of the certified mail receipt.
I don't have it.
You don't want the opportunity to check for it? You're just gonna say you don't have it?
I mean, it's not nothing, it's not anything I could just pull right away in, Your Honor.
I'm gonna give you time to get it.
A couple of months.
No.
Mr. Sanchez,
Yes.
this is Sandy Torres. The judge is asking for us to look for that letter. and
Yeah,
to-
I'll
and
be
to-
glad to look for it.
And to provide it to the court within the time frame that he will order.
Right. I mean, I'll be glad to look for it. Yes, I have no problem with that.
Okay, any other documents that either party would think is relevant?
I was looking at, in regards to the conversation that we were having with the attorney in regards to the paint jobs. If I would like to go ahead and provide those just so that,
Sure. You each have the emails. The email to send the documents
yes,
to?
we do.
Mr.
yes.
Torres, you have that as well?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
You have the email JP1 El Paso County at gmail.com.
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, you get the letter and itemized statement from Mr. Sanchez, if you could provide it to the court. Any other documents you think are relevant, and then likewise, the McDermotts, if you have any documents that you consider relevant or would be helpful in deciding this, you can send those to me. Each of you all send them in, send CC the other side. In other words, Ms. McDermott, if you send me documents, CC Mr. Torres. Mr. Torres, if you send me documents, CC Mrs. McDermott.
Yes, Your Honor.
Correct.
Any documents that you think that would be relevant? Mr. Sanchez, I have a question for you. Is this your business?
Yes, Your Honor.
You specialize in restoring cars?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
So what's the turnaround time? What's the reasonable amount of time to have a job done?
Usually 2 weeks, a month, depending on the year, car. I mean, there's some that are just, there're just some that are just, unfortunately, there's no parts for it. And with everything that happens, but it's by no means
So
have I ever tried to get over on anybody. So, we started everything as soon as we had the information.
okay, when you made the estimate for this vehicle for $20,000, what was your expected turnaround time?
Well, as I told them from the very, very beginning, it would depend on parts and finally picking a color for paint, upholstery. There's quite this is not an everyday job that we get.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez, did you give him an idea of what the turnaround time was?
No, I did not. I just said it could be a long time. They said, no, it's not a rush. But I still could not do anything without the colors.
Ms. McDermott, I'll ask you all the same question. Was any representations made to when he could possibly have this done?
Are you asking me, Your Honor?
Yes, any McDermott's, yes, either one.
Honestly, Your Honor, there was not, I don't recall that. So one of the things that we did mention and how he's talking about getting certain parts and everything like that, we had, I remember telling Mr. Sanchez that if there was things that needed to be replaced in the vehicle, not necessarily looking for old parts or whatever to make it new, that I was not going to have a vehicle that was going to break down on us or whatever, that if it was something that had to be completely replaced, then that's what we wanted it to do. I remember telling him I wanted him to pimp my ride in essence of, getting this vehicle restored to a good condition, whether it was brand new or I guess if they had to go use parts. I don't recall that piece of the conversation, but that was the initial agreement.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez or Jimmy?
Yes, Your Honor.
I guess I'm not sure what Mr. Jimmy's last name is. To complete this car, to complete it, what needs to be done? And I need to know everything.
All right, complete. We need to finish the AC, put oil, start it up. Exhaust is already put on. And find a couple of pulleys that's the reason I can't start it. Because it's missing some pulleys, and if I try to start it, it'll heat up and might mess up the engine. That's why I'm looking for those pulleys, because they run the belts. See, the problem with this car is it's an American Motors. They don't make no more.
I'm not asking what the problem is. I'm just asking what's left to be done.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you. It needs those pulleys. I can start the engine to keep the engine from overheating.
Okay.
Once I find them, we'll put them on and it should be ready to roll.
Okay. Is that correct, Mr. Sanchez?
I believe so. The interior, we've got it torn apart. we've just been waiting on everything, but I mean, if Ms. McDermott wanted to come to some kind of agreement, then, you know,
So all that's remaining, and I don't know if you're all missing the elephant in the room. Finish the AC, put oil in it and start it up, and missing some pulleys.
Yes, sir. I got the carburetor right here, sealed and everything, so no dust, dirt gets in there. But that takes-
Carburetor needs, carburetor,
It's already been rebuilt, redone, brand new.
needs to be, it's gonna need a carburetor, right?
Yeah, I just got to install it.
Okay,
I
anything,
don't want to put it out there because it's dust. We have the engine covered up and everything, so no dust can get in there.
anything else?
That's it.
Okay, so we all went through this whole thing on upholstery, and I know the upholstery's not done, but nobody mentioned that.
but I didn't figure I had to after she just said that she didn't want it.
Oh, but you heard your employee saying that that was not, that it was, they were contractually obligated to pay for it.
But I just heard that she didn't want it, so I'm not going by that.
Okay. How much did the upholstery make up?
I don't know. I don't know what colors or what materials.
Okay. So the car is not running, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Correct.
Okay, the McDermott's, you all are prepared to pick up the vehicle?
We're prepared to pick up the vehicle.
And have you seen the paint?
Not in a while.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do though. The McDermott's the opportunity to see the vehicle. And so let's, if you all want to discuss a time and date that we can agree upon for them to inspect the vehicle.
Okay, Judge?
Whenever.
No,
wants-
we need a time and date. We need a time and date because I like to be
Yeah.
there, Judge, and I've got a couple of final hearings tomorrow, but I'm available Friday afternoon.
Okay, Ms. McDermott's is Friday work?
To go see the vehicle?
Yes.
Yes, I wanted to take my mechanic over there. As a matter of fact, they were there because I wasn't sure whether this was going to be resolved today. And so, I don't know what the next time he would have because I don't know engines or vehicles. Somebody who had worked on that car before. And so, with the familiarity to make sure that, things were intact. So I would have to ask what his availability time is. Because I would have,
May I?
Go ahead. Sure.
Well, I think there's two issues here, and the court initially asked about the paint job and to inspect the paint job. And then if Ms. McDermott wants to have a mechanic, that needs to be done after Mr. Moreno Jimmy gets those pulleys installed so that the car is functionally running and a mechanic can look at it and do their inspection. But I thought that the initial inspection or the inspection the court was talking about was the paint job because there was an issue in the testimony about the paint job.
Yeah, but I think if you fair, they look at the whole vehicle. I mean, this is not just a paint job, it's not a upholstery
Yeah,
job.
we can look at the whole vehicle, but according to Mr. Moreno's testimony, if the pulleys aren't in, it's not going to be running.
Okay, well, we're here 2 years afterwards. What's the likelihood of getting those pulleys in the next couple of days?
I have no idea. Jimmy, the judge is asking, how soon can you get those pulleys?
I've been trying to this date. So I've been trying to match them up. It can be a week. Since that car has not been out since the 70s. I'm having trouble. We looked through.
Okay, so is it realistic to wait till you get the pulleys or not?
Yes.
It is realistic. You have the pulleys in a week.
Yeah, I believe so, Your Honor. I mean,
Okay,
how can a mechanic look at anything that's not running? His opinion wouldn't matter.
okay, so we estimate a week to get the car running. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I said it could be, it depended on those pulleys. Believe me, Your Honor, I would love to have those pulleys and put them on. I would love to.
So what are we going to wait till the pulleys or not?
If they want to see the car running, yes, we would have to, yes. And that's the only way any mechanic could do anything is if a car is running. So that would be up to the McDermotts if they want to wait till then.
Well, everybody, to make a decision, everybody has to know what then means.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so this is what we've been pushed up against, that, okay, it's going to be a week and then we find out it's not a week. So my worry is that whether the mechanic goes to go see it or not is, what warranty do I have afterwards? And that's why, we go back to like saying the $10,000, again, me putting that amount on there, because we're not guaranteed, whether if we were to say, okay, no, just give me the car. So, is it a week or is it not?
Well, that we've never said that we wouldn't warranty it.
Okay, we're at 2 years now.
Talking
How much
about-
longer does it take to get the pulleys?
I'm sorry?
How much longer to get the pulleys?
I'll have Jimmy go nonstop, but I don't want to give you a date and we
Well, there's
can't
gotta be
find
an
him, but
end.
I can
There's
have
gotta be
him
an-
keep you updated.
No, there's got to be an end to this.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I agree.
Mr. Torres, any suggestion?
Your Honor, considering everybody's concerns, I would say give it a 2-week period and have Mr. Sanchez report to me and I will report to the court regarding the progress and also to the McDermotts. If at that time they don't have the pulleys and they've tried, then we can have the inspection, the mechanic, the McDermotts can inspect the car, the paint job, and whatever else has been done. The mechanic can go by and verify the repairs, the other repairs, and then verify to the court whether it's difficult to get pulleys for this model year and make of a car. I mean, that seems to be an issue that the pulleys cannot be found. Judge, I don't know anything about this. I'm not a mechanic. I don't own a Javelin, and maybe Ms. McDermott's mechanics can either verify or say, no, I called AutoZone and found them yesterday. So I would suggest that we do 2 weeks and with periodic updates from Mr. Sanchez so that I can pass it on to the court and pass it on to the
I would
McDermott.
be good with that.
Here's where I'm at. I'm fine with the 2 weeks to get the pulleys. It's not gonna be an update. I'm gonna make my decision based on my decision. If I can confirm that repairs have been made, I'm obviously going to compensate for those repairs are made. If I can't confirm it, then that's gonna come into my decision-making as far as compensation.
Right.
It'd be in your best interest to get these pulleys so that this car can be checked out to see if it's working. If not, I have to infer the worst.
Right.
So, after 2 years, that's been time to do that. So, I would strongly urge you to get those pulleys because if the car cannot be thoroughly checked to see if these repairs have been completed properly, then I'm going to defer on the side of caution and say no, that they haven't been completed because we can't confirm it. So.
It's been 3 years, Your Honor.
So, okay. So we're now at June 1st. I'm gonna give it till June 18th was a Friday. To get the parts necessary, and I'm not limiting it to pulleys, just get the parts necessary to get this car running. Then we will have, let's do this. Let's have a status hearing on June 17th. Let me see what I have on June 17th. 1 second. Wow, this is June 17th. I guess it looks like June 17th at 9 o'clock. We'll have a status hearing. By that June 17th at 9 a.m., the letter, the contract, all that should have been mailed in or emailed in. I should have that. That's not something we're going to look for it after that point. If you don't have it, then it's non-existent. And then we will schedule at June 17th, based on what we know, we'll set a time for an inspection.
Okay, Judge. On June 17th, I'm starting to mediate a case at 10. Do you think it will be done by then?
Oh, sure. I would hope so.
Okay. Yeah, me too. Okay.
Any, does that work with everybody else?
Yes, it works.
That
Okay.
works.
Yes, Your Honor.
Fine, Judge.
The McDermott's, if you could, at that time, I don't know if you could kind of have maybe a idea of when your mechanic would be available for the inspection.
I will do so.
Okay. Anything else that we need to cover?
Not from us, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll see you back on June 17th at 9 a.m. Ben, did you hear that? June 17th?
Yes. Yes, Judge.
Didn't look like anything scheduled that day. Am I looking at the right date?
Yeah, you're fine. I mean, yeah, June 17th, there's nothing scheduled. What time did you say again, Judge?
9 o'clock, is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. And then they can just use the same Zoom information because I'm going to just go ahead and move it over, okay?
Okay.
We
Thank
have
you.
this- we
Thank
have
you.
this information. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you
Okay,
very much.
Thank you.